Hello, BBN. Do you know the story that surprised Pope and Stoops? It involves Pitino, a man fondly remembered by the BBN. Before we dive into the news, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Wildcats updates. Rick Pitino, the legendary former coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, made a donation to the UK football program, capturing attention from all corners of the Big Blue Nation. While it might seem surprising to some, this act reflects Pitino's deep connection to the University of Kentucky, even years after he left the basketball program. This gesture is not just a show of support for Malachis Stoops and Pope's programs, but also a testament to the respect and affection Pitino still holds for the institution that marked him as one of college basketball's greatest coaches. During a KSR radio segment, where he was interviewed by the Pardon My Take podcast, Pitino revealed that beyond his love for basketball, he also has a significant appreciation for Kentucky football. His friendship with Malachis Stoops, the current football coach of the Wildcats, and Eddie Gran, the former offensive coordinator, seems to have motivated Pitino to make a financial contribution to the football program. His comments on the radio show demonstrated how naturally he engages in efforts to strengthen the sport at the university. "Well, I actually wrote a check for the football program because I'm friends with Malachis Stoops and Eddie Gran, and I wrote a check for the football program," Pitino stated, his tone blending humility with loyalty. This is not out of character for someone who has always valued friendship and team spirit in his careers on and off the court. What was most intriguing, however, was Pitino's response when asked about his support for Kentucky's current basketball program, now led by Mark Pope. Showing incredible affection for Pope, who was his player during the golden years in Lexington, Pitino was emphatic that he would also be willing to contribute to the basketball program. His statement, laden with emotion, reveals how much he values the time he spent at Kentucky and the relationships he built with his former athletes. "But I would definitely write a check if Mark, Pope, needed anything from me. Anything except for my firstborn Michael. He could have him," added Pitino, his tone playful yet serious about his commitment to Kentucky basketball. Pope, who took over the team after the long era of Calipari, is fortunate to have the moral and apparently financial support of one of college basketball's most iconic figures. Known for his perfectionism and dedication to the game, Pitino did not hide his admiration for Pope. "I absolutely love Mark, Pope, and would do anything for his program. I've always called the University of Kentucky Camelot for me. I never had a bad year, never had a bad day. They treated me like a king," Pitino said, making it clear that despite the ups and downs in his career, his years in Kentucky were undoubtedly the most special. His ongoing regard for the Wildcats, years after his departure, reinforces the unbreakable bond Pitino maintains with Kentucky. And for the Big Blue Nation, the news that Pitino is working to get back in good graces could not be more welcome. He, once a pillar of the Wildcats' basketball-winning tradition, now extends his support to the football program, demonstrating that his passion for the UK transcends the courts and reaches the fields. In the end, Rick Pitino's gesture is proof that although times change and the faces on the sidelines differ, love for Kentucky remains a constant for those who have been part of its rich history. Mark Pope, now at the helm of the basketball program, can take pride in having Pitino not just as a mentor but also as a steadfast ally, ready to assist whenever needed. And for the Wildcats fans, the assurance that Pitino is still involved, in some way, with the university's success is yet another reason to keep believing in great achievements in both basketball and football. Here's to Pope, proving to be as monumental as Pitino. Let's go forward. The arrival of Mark Pope as the new head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats is already making a difference. Those of you following along can see it. Austin Pope, a former point guard from Chaminade, will join the team as a graduate assistant, marking another strategic step in building a solid foundation for the future of Wildcats basketball. Mark Pope, who has already earned the trust of Kentucky fans with his successful track record as both a player and a coach, has been moving quickly to ensure that his coaching staff is up to the challenges ahead. Among the significant additions to his staff are Alvin Brooks III, known for his ability to develop young talent, Cody Fuger, a respected strategist in the collegiate scene, Jason Hart, with his extensive experience in the NBA G League, Mikhail McLean, who brings an international perspective to the team, and Mark Fox, whose resume includes tenures at some of the top universities in the country. With these names, Pope clearly demonstrates his commitment to establishing a winning culture from day one. Austin Pope, though a new name in the Lexington scene, brings with him a wealth of experience, both as a player and as a coach. His collegiate career at Chaminade, where he was honored as first-team All-Pacific West, is a testament to his leadership on the court. In the 2017-18 season, Pope recorded impressive averages of 14.8 points, 4.5 assists, and 1.2 steals per game. He not only led the Pac-West Conference in assists, but also ranked 27th nationally with an assist-to-turnover ratio of 2.7, showcasing his court intelligence and efficiency. After his collegiate career, Austin Pope took his talents to the professional stage, playing in various leagues around the world, including stints in Lithuania, Sweden, Denmark, Serbia, and the NBA G League. These international experiences have undoubtedly enriched his understanding of the game, providing a unique perspective that he will now bring to the Kentucky program. And Pope? He also ventured into coaching, starting at the high school level, where he worked with promising youths at Viewpoint School and Burroughs High School. His coaching experience with the AAU for the BTI Basketball Club should not be underestimated either, as the AAU circuit is known for developing some of the greatest talents in college and professional basketball. The addition of Austin Pope to the Wildcats coaching staff is undoubtedly a strategic move by Mark Pope. With his diverse experience, both as a player and as a coach, Austin is well equipped to help develop the young talents arriving at Kentucky. He not only understands the nuances of the game at different levels, but also has the ability to connect with players on a deeper level, having lived through the same experiences they are now facing. The appointment of Austin Pope as a graduate assistant is just one example of how this new era in Lexington will be built on the pillars of tradition, innovation, and a deep commitment to excellence. Are you excited about this move? And you listening, what do you think? Subscribe to let us know you're enjoying the content. Will Jasper Johnson sign or not? Alabama seems keen on joining the fray. The fate of point guard Jasper Johnson, one of the most promising talents in the class of 2025, is about to be decided, and the anticipation among fans and recruitment analysts is palpable. With a decision scheduled for next week, Johnson will narrow down his list of 5 finalists: Louisville Cardinals, Alabama Crimson Tide, Kentucky Wildcats, North Carolina Tar Heels, and Arkansas Razorbacks, to just one institution privileged to harness his skills in the coming years. Will the Wildcats be chosen? Will Jasper sign? That's still a big question. Johnson's recruitment has been marked by ups and downs, reflecting the complexity and intensity of negotiations among the major powers of college basketball. Initially, Kentucky seemed to be in a less favorable position, with rumors suggesting that Johnson was leaning towards choosing between North Carolina and Alabama. However, recent weeks have brought a significant turnaround, with Kentucky regaining ground and emerging as a strong contender in the final stretch. The news that Malachi Morenos has committed to the Wildcats appears to have injected new vigor into Johnson's recruitment. Morenos, who will be Kentucky's first commitment in the class of 2025, has brought renewed optimism among Wildcats fans, who now see the possibility of Johnson following the same path. Jack Pilgrim from KSR was one of the first to report on Johnson's impending decision, without specifying the exact day it will be announced. However, the uncertainty about Johnson's destination has fueled speculation and analysis by experts, who try to decipher the signs and predict which university will come out on top in this heated contest. Jacob Polachek, also from KSR, offered his perspective on Johnson's recruitment, describing it as a toss-up between Alabama and Kentucky. Polachek admits that 2 weeks ago, he would have pointed to Alabama as the clear favorite, But recent developments have shifted the landscape, with Kentucky making significant progress. He believes that, while Kentucky's lead is slight, one cannot dismiss a possible final push from Alabama. Now, Jamie Shaw from On3 shares a similar view but maintains a 40% confidence level in Alabama's victory. Shaw emphasizes that Kentucky has made Johnson a priority, and despite having regained some ground, Alabama is still seen as a formidable contender. We hope it doesn't happen, and he truly comes to the Wildcats. Aaron Torres is also optimistic about Kentucky's chances, stating that he believes the Wildcats are in the lead now. This confidence reflects the perception that Kentucky, with its rich tradition and strong basketball program, may have convinced Johnson that coming to Lexington is the ideal place to be. The entire Big Blue Nation is rooting for this possibility of securing a talent like Jasper Johnson, which is a cause for great excitement. Mark Pope, who recently took over the Wildcats, has the chance to give a significant boost to his program with the addition of Johnson, especially after having already secured the commitment of Malachi Morenos. The combination of these two players could put Kentucky in a privileged position in the SEC and further strengthen the Wildcats' legacy in the college basketball landscape. We can't rule out Alabama's efforts with Nate Oates, whose program has been growing, but we believe more that he will come to the Big Blue. At the end of the video, I want to hear what you say. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The Kentucky basketball schedule for the 2024-25 season is set, and with it, expectations for the start of the Mark Pope era in Lexington intensify. This season promises to be one of the most anticipated in recent years, not only because of the leadership transition on the Wildcats bench, but also because of the series of matchups that will define Kentucky's path in pursuit of another deep run in the NCAA tournament. Are you ready to follow the championship? The Wildcats' SEC journey begins on January 4th with a home showdown against Florida. This opening game will not only mark the start of conference play, but will also be an opportunity for Kentucky fans to see how Pope's team responds to the pressure of competing at the highest level right out of the gate. Florida, traditionally a strong opponent, will be a significant test to gauge how quickly Kentucky players have adapted to Pope's newly implemented system. However, the game that will undoubtedly be the highlight of the schedule, and one that all fans should have marked on their calendars, is the much-anticipated return of John Calipari to Rupp Arena. On February 1st, the Arkansas Razorbacks, now led by Calipari, will face the Wildcats in a duel that carries not just the emotional weight of a reunion, but also the competitive importance of a crucial SEC matchup. It will be the only regular season clash between Kentucky and Arkansas, making it even more significant for both teams. The expectation is that this game will have all the elements of a classic, with emotions playing a crucial role. Kentucky's SEC calendar includes a series of challenges, culminating on senior night, scheduled for March 4th or 5th, when the Wildcats will face the LSU Tigers at home. This game, always special, will be an opportunity for fans to honor the team's veterans and at the same time secure a crucial win in the final stretch of the regular season. Kentucky's regular season will wrap up on March 8th with an away game against Missouri. Securing a win on the road to close the season could be essential to maintain momentum before the start of the SEC tournament, which will return to the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville for March 12th. From there, all eyes will turn to Selection Sunday on March 16th, where Kentucky hopes to be placed in a favorable position for another journey in the NCAA tournament. But before the SEC takes over the calendar, the Wildcats will face a series of formidable non-conference opponents, serving as an excellent gauge for Pope's team. Among the most anticipated games is the matchup against Duke in an event that always draws national attention. Additionally, Kentucky will face Gonzaga in Seattle and Ohio State at the iconic Madison Square Garden, matches that will offer significant challenges and a platform to demonstrate the team's strength outside of Lexington. Another game that will surely draw a lot of attention is the away clash against Clemson, along with the highly anticipated battle at Rupp against Louisville. The latter will mark the first matchup between Mark Pope and Pat Kelsey in Bluegrass, adding yet another layer of rivalry to a game that is already one of the most intense in college basketball. An interesting tidbit about this year's schedule is the mini break Kentucky will have in January. After the matchup against Alabama on January 18th, the Wildcats will have a week off before facing Vanderbilt on January 25th. This rest period could be crucial for the team to recharge and tweak any tactical aspects before returning to action. The rematch against Alabama on February 22nd will be one of the season's decisive moments, especially considering that the Crimson Tide is a favorite for the Final Four in 2025. Mark Pope has the opportunity to make his mark in his first season, and the path to that begins with a calendar filled with challenges, both within and outside the conference. If the Wildcats can successfully navigate these initial obstacles, the future looks promising for a memorable postseason campaign. Let's move forward. The hiring of Mark Pope as the new head coach marked the beginning of a new era for the program in Lexington. Despite some initial uncertainties, Pope quickly earned the respect of his peers and is already considered one of the best hires of the offseason. In a recent edition of CBS's Candid Coaches, hosted by Gary Parrish and Matt Norlander, Pope was ranked the third-best coaching hire of 2024, receiving 8.5% of the votes, trailing only John Calipari, 43.4%, and Dusty May, 21.7%. This recognition from coaches nationwide is a testament to the immediate impact Pope has had on the college basketball community, even before his team has hit the court. The positive evaluations of Pope aren't just about popularity, but reflect the deep trust many coaches place in his tactical abilities and his capacity to manage a high-caliber program like Kentucky's. One coach interviewed in the CBS survey highlighted Pope's qualities, describing him as someone who doesn't seek a microphone every 10 minutes to make his case and doesn't make many excuses. These words underscore Pope's seriousness and focus on his work, traits that surely resonate with the demanding fan base of the Wildcats. Moreover, Pope is recognized as an underrated recruiter and a great talent evaluator, crucial for keeping Kentucky competitive on the national stage. The same coach also praised Pope's ability to innovate offensively and to use his roster surgically, ensuring that each player fulfills a specific and essential role in his strategy. This tactical vision, which combines adapting to the individual strengths of his players with a modern offensive approach, makes Pope a fascinating choice to lead the Wildcats in this new phase. This guy is a showstopper, and the BBN is with Pope. This initial acceptance is vital as the transition from a legendary coach like Calipari to a new leader can be fraught with challenges. However, the fact that Pope has quickly won over Kentucky fans indicates that he possesses the necessary qualities to lead successfully. A significant point raised in the evaluations was Pope's perspective on recruiting. While he may not dominate the recruiting rankings the way Calipari did, largely due to the increasing impact of NIL on players' choices, there is confidence that Pope will be able to attract quality talent, and that is very important for the team. The comparison with Calipari is inevitable, especially considering that Calipari was ranked as the best hire of the offseason when taking over at Arkansas. However, Pope is distinguishing himself by bringing a fresh and perhaps less conventional, but equally effective, approach to Kentucky basketball. His ability to work quietly, without the constant need for media attention, may be precisely what the Wildcats need to maintain stability and long-term success. Kentucky fans are ready to support Pope, hoping that he will not only uphold the Wildcats' winning tradition, but also bring new energy and perspective to the program. Let's keep moving forward.
Was Malachi Morenos already decided? Let's analyze. Malachi Morenos' decision to commit to the Kentucky Wildcats marks a significant moment for both the player and the new head coach of the Wildcats, Mark Pope. Morenos, a talented four-star center from Great Crossing High in Georgetown, Kentucky, became the first commitment of the program's 2025 recruiting class. His choice, as he himself stated, was guided by a strong and distinct feeling that emerged during his unofficial visit to Kentucky earlier in the month. Morenos' journey to this commitment began with a visit to Rupp Arena, where he and his older brother, Michael Moreno, were welcomed by Mark Pope. During this visit, Pope took them to center court, where they unfolded chairs and had a sincere and deep conversation. "And I just felt it. It was just a feeling," said Moreno, describing the moment he realized Kentucky was the right place for him. This emotional connection, combined with Pope's openness about his faith, was decisive for Moreno. "God put me on this path, so I just chose to follow it." Moreno, who is widely regarded as one of the top basketball players in the state of Kentucky, was heavily recruited by several programs. In addition to Kentucky, he had 7 other finalists: Arkansas, Indiana, Louisville, Iowa, Ohio State, North Carolina, and Notre Dame. Moreno's decision to choose Kentucky among so many competitive options highlights not just the strength of the relationship he built with Pope, but also the vision he has for his future in the program. Pope's coaching style also played a key role in Moreno's decision. "I took a lot of pride in that, knowing that he develops his big man personally, not just having another coach do it," Moreno commented, referring to Pope's experience as a former Kentucky player, someone who understands the demands and challenges of playing as a center in the SEC. Pope's ability to work directly with players like Moreno, combined with his personal experience, was a crucial differentiator in the young athlete's choice. Pope's conversations with the Moreno brothers were more than just discussions about tactics and strategies. For Malachi Moreno, these interactions were an opportunity to get to know Pope as a person, not just as a coach. "He just sits down and talks with you," said Moreno. "Sometimes, it's not even about basketball. It's just about life." This more human and personal aspect of the relationship that Pope builds with his players is something that Moreno deeply valued, seeing in Pope not just a coach but also a father figure. Moreno's commitment to Kentucky was also influenced by Pope's persistence. After John Calipari left the program, Pope immediately reached out to Moreno, ensuring that the relationship between the player and the university did not dissipate. "I had to earn the scholarship offer from Coach Pope," Moreno recalled. This message that nothing would be handed to him for free, but that he would have to earn his place, resonated deeply with Moreno, reinforcing his decision to commit to the Wildcats. Moreno's impact at Great Crossing has been significant. Consistently growing each year, both physically and in terms of skills, he has become a dominant force on the court. His coach, Steve Page, praised Moreno's progress, highlighting his defensive abilities from the start and the constant evolution of his offensive game. By 8th grade, Moreno was already a formidable presence, but it's his ongoing growth and dedication to development that have made him one of the top prospects in the state. Moreno's statistics speak for themselves: 1,638 points, 1,378 rebounds, 461 blocks, and 62 double-doubles over his high school career. Additionally, his 6 games with 10 or more blocks and his 491 rebounds in the 2023-24 season, which led all players in Kentucky, demonstrate his ability to dominate games both offensively and defensively. These numbers not only reinforce his talent, but also indicate that he is just beginning to tap into his full potential. I believe Moreno will be a standout player on the team with Pope's help. What do you think? Now let's talk football. Have you subscribed to the channel yet? Coach Mark Stoops, always strategic and known for his ability to rebuild and develop talent, finds himself particularly optimistic about what he has seen at the heart of his team, the quarterback's room. The Wildcats are set to open their season against Southern Miss at Kroger Field, in a game that not only marks the beginning of a new chapter in Kentucky football, but also features a different group of QBs. The current QB room, composed of Brock Vandagriff, Gavin Wimsatt, Cutter Boley, and veteran Bo Allen, represents an intriguing mix of youth and experience, each bringing a unique dynamic to the field. Stoops, in his recent comments, expressed contagious enthusiasm about his quartet of QBs. "I really feel good about them," he stated, highlighting the quality and depth he sees in the group. "It's a very good group." This confidence is not unfounded, as the diversity of skills and competence of the selected quarterbacks offer Kentucky a flexibility rarely seen in recent years under his leadership. And Stoops talking about the quality of the quarterback's room reflects not just his confidence in the individual abilities of these athletes, but also a deliberate strategy to strengthen a position that has often been a point of weakness for the Wildcats. With the timing of the transfer portal, Kentucky has been adept at attracting talents that can make an immediate difference, thus balancing the departure of players with new high-caliber additions. Stoops emphasizes the importance of preparation. With the portal, sometimes when you have guys, other guys leave, and it leaves you thin. I feel like we're in a very good situation with the quarterback room. His mention of confidence in each of the players reiterates not just their readiness to take the field, but also the program's ability to handle common sports adversities, such as injuries and tactical changes. Consistency has been a challenge for the Wildcats, especially with frequent changes at the offensive coordinator position. However, the arrival of Bush Hamdan is seen as an opportunity to stabilize and revitalize the offense. The new coordinator brings with him the promise of a renewed approach that will hopefully maximize the potential of the quarterbacks and, by extension, the team as a whole. And what will this football season be like? Will you be watching? This year we're hoping for a difference with Mark Stoops and with the momentum from offensive coordinator Bush Hamdan. Kentucky isn't just optimistic, but also strategically armed for an attack that promises to capture both the imagination and the scores of its opponents. At the center of this renewed offensive vigor is the quarterback's room, led by the talented Brock Vandagriff. With a notable ability to make all types of throws and a balanced presence in the pocket, Vandagriff stands out as a natural leader, whose arm strength and agility add a dynamic element to Kentucky's aerial game. His ability to command the offense and maintain calm under pressure will be crucial for the Wildcats' effectiveness this season. Complementing Vandagriff's prowess is a diverse and explosive group of wide receivers. Dane Key, known for his ability to stretch the field and make spectacular plays, and Barion Brown, whose speed and agility transform routine plays into spectacular gains, form a formidable duo. They are supported by Jamori Macklin and Anthony Brown-Stevens, each bringing their own set of skills that further enrich Kentucky's offensive arsenal. The running game is no less impressive, with Diamante Chip Trayanum, a powerful and relentless running back, leading the ground effort. His running style, which combines strength and agility, makes him a constant threat, both in goal-line situations and on long runs. Alongside him, Demai Sumo Karngbe and the young Jamarian Wilcox add versatility and depth, promising a rotation that keeps the opposing defense constantly on their heels. The effectiveness of this multifaceted offense will be largely ensured by the Big Blue Wall, Kentucky's offensive line. Anchored by veteran center Eli Cox and bolstered by talents like Yeager Burton and transfers Jalen Farmer and Gerald Mincy, this line promises robustness and protection, fundamental elements for Kentucky's playmakers to explore their potential. This is a team whose offensive setup not only raises expectations, but also demonstrates Kentucky's ongoing commitment to compete and excel in the conference. With this mix of youth and experience, raw talent and refined strategy, the Kentucky Wildcats are positioned not just to make noise in the SEC, but possibly to redefine what can be expected of this team in 2024. Certainly, under the guidance of Stoops and with such a rich arsenal of talent, Kentucky is more than ready to leave its mark this year, promising a campaign that will be as strategic as it is spectacular.